Alrighty. Hi everyone, this is Jose Camilla, people of YouTube, people of San Antonio. I just wanted to say that today is the 4th of July, 2026. America has 250 years. So I just wanted to thank the hardworking people that make this country good, and even people who aren't even legal in this country that make this country good in a way by working hard and contributing to this country, also not doing crime and stuff. Yeah, and also I just wanted to say that for all these other people that just make it worse, it's like I don't think they should be here for the gangbangers and the gangsters and drug dealers and all that just make this country worse as it is. People who do street races and not consider others. Like, I'm gonna make it real quick. Over there by Southwest Military, these two people were drag racing and killed the person. You could see it on the news if you look it up. Happened here in San Antonio, but yeah, those people just make this country real bad. And I don't even think all those people that I mentioned should be here, obviously, because they're just not making this country good with all the bad stuff and crime they do. And having their loud cars and stuff, it's like, well, not just having their loud cars, but them just, drag racing, street racing, and not really caring about other people's lives and stuff and putting people's lives at risk. I don't think they should be here, but everyone else, that works hard, that try to make ends meet and do what they gotta do and ain't involved in any stupid shit. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm gonna be using cuss words. You know, happy 4th of July to y'all. And yeah, I just wanted to mention too, real quick. Bear with me and stick around and hold tight, because this is gonna be a pretty long video. I'm over here at the park of over here at the park close to Babcock and Dezaval in San Antonio. Kind of leads to the YMCA park, but yeah, it's I wanted to make a video here to explain it, and I found a spot. This is the most secluded spot. It's kind of hard to do it at home because everyone's celebrating, the 4th of July, which is good. But, I wanted to be more secluded because I wanted to talk about something real personal and really, for me, horrible what would happen. I don't know about anybody else. As I said before, I don't really care about other people's opinions. It's just what I'm expressing, what I actually feel and what I'm actually going through. And it's going to be a pretty long topic. That's all I could say. I know other people might not go through that because they're tech savvy and they're smart. But me, who's not tech savvy, who's not really smart, doesn't really know about them. And for the people who don't, I'm going to talk about it. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a romance scam that I recently went through. That was really bad. And I hope people don't get bothered or anything. I'm going to have to be switching to a stand so I could really show you what I'm talking about and, show you everything I did and what worked out for me. I don't know if it'll work out for you, but that's what I did because nobody taught me that. Nobody told me that I could do all these things to be able to to be able to find out it's a romance scam, you know. I'm gonna be talking about all that, and also where can you report it, so stick around. Um, okay. Well, let's start from the beginning. It's a long story, so stick around. Um, oh, and I wanted to mention too, I'm sorry if you're gonna be hearing this weird beeping sound, but there's really nothing I could do about it because I couldn't find another place to make a video, a quiet place. So I was like, this is the best I could find. Anyway, so it all started around June, 20 something of 2025, when I met this very beautiful woman on Facebook. It started that she messaged me. She wanted to do a direct message with me or something, and I was just really not exactly excited, but I was really not only curious. I was interested, because it's like no beautiful woman has ever reached out to me like that. And I didn't really know about the internet and all that other stuff, so I was like, wow, this must be genuine, must be cool. So I accepted this person as a friend, and then I think the next day or so, I received on Facebook Messenger, since I added this person as a friend, that at the time her name was Lisa Pretty, and I'm not even gonna cover up what's her name or anything, because this person doesn't deserve that. They For me, it might not, for other people it might not be a lot of money, but for me it was a lot of money that person took from me, my emotions, my sadness, and I still deal with it to this day. But I'll go more deeper into it um, once I finish up the story. Okay, so I met this person on Facebook. I accepted him as a friend, and then they started talking to me on Facebook Messenger, and it was just nice. So like all of a sudden they said, "Hi, how are you doing?" And I responded. So I'm kind of a nice guy. Uh, I said something along the lines of, "Good, how are you doing?" And then she said, "Good." And then after that, she asked me where I was from. I told her where I was from. And then she told me where she was from. Supposedly, she said she was from Fort Worth, Texas. Um, which then later in the story, I'm going to tell you that that wasn't the case. It was fabricated. It was a lie. It was just so weird, everything. But yeah, you're going to start to understand more when I explain it. So what happened is that she started telling me that she had a boyfriend, and that her boyfriend burned all of her documents and everything, and she had a bad relationship. And she was so surprised because I told her I haven't had a relationship since 2018, and she was like, wow, that long. And it was like 2025 that year. um and then I was at the mall. I was gonna go look up some stuff. I was like, I heard of this place called Modern Mingle, so I went over there to check it out and all that. But I'll tell you more about that at a different time, a different video. I'll talk about that. So yeah. And I didn't hear a response from her until an hour later. And then we started chit-chatting and stuff, and she was always asking me, you know, she was always saying nice things like my king, baby, all this other good things that, wow, a woman has never, and I mean in all my life, has ever talked to me like that. And I was like just so surprised, and I was head over heels. I was like, I guess as you say, stupefied in love with her, because I never even thought that a woman like that would literally reach out to me. I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. But yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly because it's a lot of things I have to mention. So yeah, she was always asking me. Usually, we were chit chatting a lot, and sometimes she got sad when I didn't text her or stuff because it's like she always wanted me to constantly text her. It wasn't really that much annoying, but I was like, okay. Heck, I'm talking to a very pretty girl, so I thought. Um, and she was always I miss that old person I was talking to really before all this. And to be honest, if she would have stayed like that, to be honest, I would have definitely kept on being with her, and maybe not, I possibly wouldn't even have looked the IP address because I would have thought we would have met, but then maybe I would have found out. But anyway, it wasn't that bad. It was beautiful moments. She was always showing me what she was eating, and she was always asking me what I was eating, and I told her, different things. And it went on for a couple of months. Um, and then I think I texted her that night, and I was kind of sad that she didn't text me back. So I was like, oh man, I think she doesn't want me anymore. I don't know if it was kind of late at night, because she always likes to also text late at night too. But then she said she fell asleep the next day, and I was so sad. I showed her a picture of my guitar. I showed her I would like to play a song for you, because I could play the guitar and stuff. And the chat went on, and all of a sudden, I really don't know what happened. This was the weirdest thing ever. I don't know if genuinely that person didn't want to talk to me anymore, or if it was actually the website of Messenger. But what happened is that um, like I couldn't receive response from her, and then I tried texting her and I couldn't text her anymore, and I was like, what the hell happened? And then fast forward like a couple days, I showed somebody that who I was talking to, and I didn't know what was happening. And I actually, in my mind, I was so in love with her, that I literally wanted to, because she told me she lived in Fort Worth, Texas. So I was like, I literally wanted to go over there and try to see if I could find her, even hire a private investigator. And I'm sure even though I would have found out that it was all fake, but to me it was so real, and they told me no, you can get a stalking charge or whatever. So I was real sad. I was devastated. And it looked like that was that. And obviously I had my WhatsApp. So sorry. I had my WhatsApp. So what I did is that I I received the text from somebody at 3 in the morning or so, and I was like, who the heck is this? After I thought I completely lost her, because she even deleted the account on Messenger and on Facebook. It wasn't there anymore. And then all of a sudden she says, hey, do you remember me? It's Lisa Pretty. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. And I started hearing all this noise. People are stupid. But yeah, I received that text, and I was like, oh wow, I get to see her again. And obviously you can imagine I was so excited and happy to like talk to that person again. And we started chatting again, you know. And it was like old times. She was always wanting to know what I was doing, and I told her what I was doing, and she was always wanting to know what I ate, and she was constantly always wanting me to be with her. She got sad when I wasn't talking to her. And I guess fast forward a couple months or before that, she started to say things along the lines of like, the first time she asked me for money was somehow she was saying that her Wi-Fi wasn't working and it was hard for her to text me because supposedly she was living with her grandma, and that's what she told me from the beginning. And she didn't have money to pay the Wi-Fi, and she had to use friends' Wi-Fi to text me and all that. I didn't think that was all BS at that time. I literally thought it was true. So at that time, I didn't have a job, which I lied to her, but I don't really feel bad about because it's like, you know, she lied to me too, real bad. So it doesn't really count. So I told her, along the lines of like, yeah, I have a job and I have 2 jobs, but right now I'm not getting a check. And I always told her, because I always wanted me to get money. And then she was all like, well, we're not able to talk anymore. It's not my fault or whatever. And I told her I couldn't, you know. But still, we started talking like old times, and it was genuinely okay. I never had really an argument with her. I never really felt mad with her. It just felt like the most beautiful relationship you could ever imagine, you know. Even if I've never saw her in person or anything. And it was kind of weird at first. Um, when I was first talking to her back in Messenger, I'm gonna go back a little bit. I asked her for her phone number. I gave her my phone number, and she says, "Oh, well, I can't call you or anything." And it was just kind of weird. It's like, I mean, she likes me, but why didn't she want to give me her number? So weird. I didn't think that was that weird at that time. So, because she made me believe that, like, okay, it was true. Okay. So then fast forward back. Um, maybe that's how she got my WhatsApp, because I gave her my number. Um, we were chit chatting like old times. She was always asking me what I ate. She always got sad when I didn't text her back. And I usually made lies too when I didn't, like, even when I was talking to her on Facebook Messenger and on WhatsApp that I was working, even if it wasn't true, because I just felt like I didn't want to talk to her. I lied to her, but she also lied to me worse. Okay. So, the fuck? Notice I was a little bit wet. I don't know from what. I guess sweat at the park, but whatever. Anyway, so then she started asking me, you know, because her uncle was supposedly going to give me a check. She started asking me weird stuff, like she wanted my social security number and my ID, and I really started to pick up that was weird. So I never really, I mean, this. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, because as I said, it's a long story. So yeah, she said she was gonna give me a check, okay, and she sent it over there. But you know what's the weird thing? Because I gave her my address and all that. I received the check, but her direct instructions was to go to the ATM and cash it, which was weird. So instead of doing that, I went to the bank and I tried to cash the check, and lo and behold, obviously it was fake. So I was a little bit upset, but I really didn't think much of it. And the first time she got super upset and didn't talk to me for a while. Then she started talking to me again because she said she deleted her account and used her friend's account, and again she was going to send me a check. And I don't know if that was like this. Well, I don't know how it was, but she wanted supposedly my ID and my social security number because supposedly she was going to use it either to open a credit card or something so that I could receive money, because supposedly for her surgery of her grandma, along the lines of that. So it was kind of weird. And I kind of got fed up at that time, because it wasn't before where she was all asking me what I was eating, and I told her what I was eating, and she was constantly texting me, which I was okay with that. And she said me all these beautiful things, that she wanted to, like, you know, and I'll explain more about it later. It's a long story. I just want to explain to it. And so when that happened, I didn't talk to her for a while. I uninstalled my app. I kind of blocked her. And then I felt bad. I felt sad. And I told her about it, and she was all mad. And then the next day, she started talking to me again. And then we started really talking and all that. And then she said she wanted to have kids with me. And she asked me how many kids. And I was like, maybe 2 or 3. And like, she told me, oh, 2 is enough. But I guess you could fast forward to December of 2025. And then she actually, before I received that, I'm going ahead of myself. I don't know exactly when it was. She made me talk to this lawyer, and she wanted me to fake it. And she says, oh, we're not actually going to get married. I just want you to say that we're married to this supposed lawyer. That lawyer was going to give me her dad's inheritance, which is $300,000. And they wanted me to pay $600,000. And at that time, I didn't have a job. I lied to her and said that I had $5,000 in the bank, but it was in an IRA. But obviously it was a lie. I was BSing. I mean, I wasn't BSing, but I was just lying to her that said that I had that money. And she was like, well, why don't you use that money to be able to pay the lawyers so you could receive that money from Cash App? And eventually I told her, it went back and forth, and I told her it was an IRA and I had to wait years to get it. I don't remember if I told her 3 or 4 years, which even if I don't really care at that right now, because obviously she lied to me worse, even if I lied to her. And then from there, we kind of struggled because I was new at the internet. I've never really talked to anyone in my life online, especially that treated me so well, but then it just started to get weird. I gave her my Cash App, I had Cash Tag, and it supposedly said there was a deposit there. And then it started getting all these weird things where I had to pay fees, supposedly to Cash App, so I could receive that money. And then fast forward again to December. She wanted to send me a check. And she told me, well, if you're not able to cash it at the ATM, try cashing it at the bank. But this time, and I told her, like, is this check real? Because last time it was fake. It was like, no, this check is real. I promise you, it's real. And I don't know, she got it from a makeup company that supposedly, that's what she said, that it was from a makeup company. But when I received the check, because she already had my address, she wanted me to give it to her again. I gave her my full address, street, zip code, everything like that. I received the check, and I looked at it, and it was just weird. And obviously, I've noticed the first check, it didn't have a signature. The second check, it didn't have a signature. And that's what the bank told me last time, that if it was a real check, it would have a signature, and it didn't have any signature. So it was so weird. But this time she sent me 2 checks. I don't know, from like along the range of like $100,000 to like $50,000, around something like that. Don't remember the exact amount. So then obviously, like, I went to the bank because I was pretty smart, because I was like, I'm not willing to go to jail to cash a check that could be fake and me gonna serve some prison time in there, and that might close my account. So then lo and behold, again, they told me it was fake. And then the second check, I went to try to, I was literally, thank God, God stopped me. I was about to cash that fake check into an ATM, but I didn't, because I was thinking, and it's a good thing that I overthink things, and I always overthink things. And I was like, what's gonna happen if they close my account? What if I go to jail? I don't want to go to jail. It's like the career I want to do, I can't risk going to jail, especially for something stupid like this. And if I don't get the money, so I didn't. And then fast forward a little bit forward, I wanted to cash it again at the bank, and obviously they told me again it was fake. And I'm gonna go back a little bit. For the first check, they confiscated the check, and that's what I told her, and she got mad. She didn't talk to me. The second time, the other two checks, they confiscated it again. I told her that, and then she was like, "Well, what else can I do?" or something. Which I should have thought. Well, I should have just told her, like, why don't we just chat like before? Why is it so important, all the money? I love you for who you are, not for the money. And she was like, yeah, I love you too, and the money doesn't really mean anything to me. I love you more, and all this shit, she said. So then she was like, like I said something like along the lines, well, why don't we do something different? And then, I don't know exactly, I'm gonna kind of go back a little bit because it's a lot. Her uncle supposedly she wanted my bank account. This was back in May. So she could actually deposit a certain amount of money. I don't know if it's 10,000 or something, indirectly into my bank account. And I was kind of hesitant, but I gave my bank account to her, my credit card number, the Civic number, the expiration date, and all that to her, risking that she could have did something bad. So what she did is that uncle supposedly deposited a big check into my account, and it was on hold. And at that time, I actually believed her. I thought, wow, this person is actually who they say they are. I don't think there's anything weird or maybe any scam going on. So I thought, and I received a letter twice from my bank saying that the check didn't go in because it was insufficient funds, supposedly. So that check never went in. Then going back to that time back in December, trying to see if I'm not missing anything, but no, I don't think I'm missing anything. Okay. So after that, yeah, as I said, the story's gonna be long, so just bear with me, and just bear with me. It's gonna be a long story. Anyway, so then she wanted my bank account number again. I opened a second credit card because in my head I was like, you know what? If she asks me for that card and something happens, at least I have my other card. So last time I gave her the card that I usually use, but this time I opened a second account and got a second debit card and told her of that debit card, the Civic number, the card number, the expiration date on the card and everything, the bank, the account number of that other account. And I also gave the account number of the other one because I thought, well, last time nothing happened, so I think I'm fine. And so when I gave her that, like, because supposedly her uncle or something like that again was going to deposit money, and I believed her. Trying to think what else am I missing, because it's a lot. And the funny thing is, I told that, going back a little bit more to my uncle, and says, yeah, I don't talk to random people. But going back now to this time, Um, I should have listened, but I didn't. But I gave her that, and in my mind, everything was gonna be good, and she wasn't gonna do anything weird with it. And she said, "Oh well, is that card old?" And I lied to her and says, "Yeah, it's my old card because it's coming up as a new card or as a new card." And I was like, "No, it's an old bank account. I don't know how they're able to find that out." Which at that time it wasn't weird for me. So fast forward from December to January. Um, I sent her all that information again. Well, this was before. This was back in December. So January, I sent her all that information again, and I lost my job at Dollar Tree. But yeah, because I was working actually, but I didn't have two jobs, and I lied to her, and I didn't really tell her that, and I was actually working that time, so it was kind of true. But anyway, going to January. I think at around 2 a.m. she wanted the same information, the account number, and I gave her the other one that I recently opened, thinking in my mind that nothing was gonna happen, that they might close down that account, but I have the other one if anything happens. And then I gave her the civic number of the card, the card number, and the expiration date. And then a couple days go by, like 2 days, and then I look at my account on my mobile app, and at that time I had IBC Bank, and I look at it and I was like, what the fuck? Like, the fucking thing, I not kid you, and I still have it on my phone. I was negative $100,000, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And you could imagine I was really pissed off at her, and I never wanted to talk to her ever again, and I really should have just stopped everything. I went to the local police, and the local police obviously couldn't really do anything. They made a police report and all that, and I actually didn't want to talk to her. But again, they're so manipulative, these romance scammers. She convinced me to talk to her again and keep talking to her. I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, if she does this one more time, and I mean my word, I'm never talking to her again. And that's what I told her. Um, when she wanted me to keep on talking to her and continue supposedly the relationship. Okay. So I made the police report, and then I said to my bank, going back a little bit more when I discovered that if I had the police report, could